Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Lynn Ann Bolton. I'm one of the commercial salespeople. I've been with Jamf 9.5 years. Obviously, very much value and appreciate all of you as our customers. I think we're going to turn down the music. Perfect. Thank you so much. So again, thank you for being here. It is my pleasure to introduce Antoinette Latham. She is a technology integration specialist at Second Baptist School in Houston, Texas. And I think she has a lot of interesting information and guidance to share with us today. So take it away.
Sounds good. So like she said, my name is Antoinette Latham. I work at Second Baptist School, which is a private K-12 in Houston, Texas. Just to kind of get a feel of the room, how many K-12 like schools do I have? Okay. Higher education? Just interested in AI policy? Okay, great. So I have been in education for about 16 years. I started out as a classroom teacher at the end of my career, in the classroom, I should say. I was teaching middle school. And then I moved into technology full-time, and that is where I have been for the last 8 years. I work with pre-K3 teachers through 12th grade teachers, and part of my job is to help them integrate this meaningfully into their curriculum technology. But then as I kind of talk later on, my role has a lot of what I would consider ... behind it. Those other things as assigned also takes up a big part of my job. We are a one-to-one school. We are Apple distinguished. We actually love to brag a little bit about being the oldest Apple Distinguished School in the city of Houston. We have kindergarten through 7th grade on iPads, and then we have 8 to 12 that's on MacBook Airs. So some things I'm going to go over today is I'm going to talk about professional development, supporting our admin, collaboration, communication, sustainability, and scalability. And so the very first one we're going to talk about is meeting the needs of our teachers and our administrators. So I know we struggle with a million ideas. I don't know if your schools are like mine, but we have 100 different initiatives going on, I think all at the same time. And so as a private school, we do have the same standards and number of teaching days as public schools. But we do get a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to our professional development days. So we got really creative, or we would like to think we've gotten really creative, and we built this into our teacher schedules. So our lower school teams get a full day of planning. They also get a weekly group planning time. Our middle school and upper school teachers, they get 2 full days of planning every semester, and then they also get a daily planning time built into their schedule every week for the team to plan together. That is new for us this year. And we have what we consider a semi-block schedule for our upper school teachers. So on Wednesdays and Thursdays, that group planning time is actually 90 minutes long, which is amazing for teachers. Even though I would say some of our teachers are like, ooh, it's not long enough. But I want to be like, you get it every day though, every week. So one of our other things is, did it change? Yes, okay. Private schools, we have a lot of hats, and I kind of mentioned that before. So I am a technology integration specialist. I also manage 1,000 iPads. I also manage all of our digital subscriptions and our textbooks. So to keep things running smoothly, our division level admin and our IT team kind of have to be lockstep. Otherwise, it just gets kind of confusing. So we have a method to our madness a little bit. So what we do is our filtering system that we use, we actually print out all of those things that it filters and we give them to our division level. They go through it every year with us, and they help us decide what needs to be blocked based on their school level initiatives. It's kind of helped with bridging that gap because our lower school needs something blocked different than our upper school. So like this year we're working on AI. Our upper school students have access to that, whereas our lower school students don't have access to that just because of COPA and all the other things. So we need to have 2 different things. This has also just been really help with keeping that open dialogue. All of our admin appreciate that we are very transparent with them as to what is being blocked. Another key to that is our teachers also have this great little Chrome extension that they can type in any student email, and it'll tell you if that site is blocked for them. And so that has also helped with this because it helps simplify those tools for us, but also for them, and it keeps the communication open. Maybe. There we go. It's like, how many clicks, right? Okay, so communication collaboration, I've kind of talked about this a little bit. I know all of us are like, oh, we don't want another meeting, which I completely understand. But with technology, I feel like it's fast-paced all the time. And I tell my division levels this because I'm like, listen, what was cool yesterday has already changed after I left the meeting. So, what I have found to be very helpful is a few things. Google Forms is a great way to get feedback from our teachers. We use it to find out what they're actually doing in the classroom, and it helps when it comes from me instead of division level leadership. They tend to be a little bit more honest with me than they are with their principal. We also have a great opportunity on my campus. We actually have a coffee shop. I know most people don't have this, but we do a lot of quick checkups there. So it's like, hey, meet me at Second Cup. Let's talk about technology while you grab your coffee, and by the time you've gotten it, we've already had our meeting. So that's been really helpful. Another thing that's been helpful is being at the top priority of the meetings I attend. So I'm part of the curriculum team, I'm part of the academic team, and so we have moved me to the top because what happens is, like anything else, we get started with initiatives and in a meeting, and then technology, student support services, other people, we get like pushed down in the agenda because we've gotten down a rabbit hole, right, with an initiative. And so by putting me up at the top, I'm guaranteed 5 minutes to quickly get something in with my admin group. It's been really helpful. Sometimes I only have like one thing to tell them, but I always have that time slot, and we've worked really hard to get there. I used to be like somewhere in the agenda, which is really difficult. All right, so AI policies. I'm sure many of you all remember when you got the phone call, please block this. This is new, we don't want it. Well, we didn't do that. We didn't block it. We blocked it for the kids, but we actually left it open for our teachers. And the reason we decided to do that was because we wanted to see what was happening with the lay of the land, right? Everybody was panicking, everybody was blocking it. Some of our teachers were like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then we had our really techie teachers who were like already figuring out, right, the very moment it came out that they could do their lesson plan in ChatGPT. So we actually kept it on, and we started out with a task force, and we started sending surveys to our teachers during that year, asking them, what are you using? Why are you using it? Why do you like it? My very favorite, I have a very sweet, has been there for a lot of years, preschool teacher, who told me her favorite AI tool that year was her projector. I was like, ooh, I would love to know how that works. I had another teacher who actually told me, where do I find it in my Google waffle, like up in the corner? Gemini had not been put there yet, but it was kind of like, well, that's not quite where you're looking, that's not where you're looking for it. So we definitely had some funny moments while we were rolling it out. Some teachers who thought their projector could be AI, maybe that's coming, I don't know. But all the way to our teachers who were, like I said, using it for their lesson plans already. So we decided, after all of our meetings and surveys, we started putting it in our departmental meetings with our teachers. So this would be like your teacher leads. And we started talking about it there. Just kind of like, what are you using? You know, are you interested in using it with your kids? Like all those questions. And then we started with a rollout. So this year, we are using Trek AI, with our upper school students. We started with a cohort of teachers. They teach 9th and 10th graders, and we rolled it out with them. They actually had personalized time with their with the trainer from Trek AI before we rolled it out and before anybody else in the high school knew that we had rolled it out to them. So, how did we get here? This is a little overview of our policy. We are a Baptist affiliated school, and so a big part of our AI policy was being able to point this back to our mission and our core values, which of course is landed on biblical principles, as you see up here. But something with any policy, we don't want it to become a dinosaur. So we actually approach AI like we do our other digital subscriptions. So with that, we have this in our handbook. It is for teachers, parents, and students. So it is one policy that incorporates everybody. So regardless of who you are and you're reading it, you'll be able to find the information that you want, and you're not trying to find it in 3 different handbooks, because we all have that. So it is a link in every one of those handbooks, and it has all the information, because we have, like a lot of schools, we have teachers, admin, parents that are both. So we have some that are parents, some that are not, and so it's good for them to know all facets of it. So we manage our AI subscriptions, like I said, like our other digital tools. So every spring, our curriculum team, myself, 2 principals, 2 assistant principals, and our curriculum coordinator, we actually get together and go through all of the subscriptions to decide what is the best. So teachers put in that they want Nearpod or they want Seesaw, all of those things. They also put in what kind of AI tools that they want. It goes into a Google form. The committee meets. If we have questions, we go and ask the teachers. We often have team leads that will request subscriptions for the entire team. We've kind of tried to stop having them do that, because we want the individual teacher to say they want it, and not just one team lead saying, well, this is great for the whole team, and half the team's like, but I'm not going to actually use it. So we have them fill this out. We get together, we look at it, and then it gives us, because this is in our handbook and it's considered an addendum, it allows us to change and tweak as things go along every year. It also helps us to continue to be compliant, because we have more eyes on it. It also keeps that lines of communication open, because then our admin and our curriculum teams, our curriculum coordinator, all of them can see what our teachers are requesting. So if they're requesting the same AI tool, or we have something different in each one, but we kind of wanted this to be something that is fluid and allows us to change as it changes and as our teachers' needs change as well. Another big thing for us is streamlining all of these processes. So as we are looking to grow, basically, with all of our subscriptions, with all of our technology, so we plan for this. So with Apple, we changed our lease 2 years ago to add an extra 10% to help with the growth. We are in the second part of that lease, and so far, it's going well. We also go through, like everyone else, budgeting. Everybody looks at the budget. And what's nice about that is we now have it built in for digital subscriptions, which includes the AI. So we have that built into our budget for it so that we can change as teachers change. Another big thing, though, was streamlining our processes. Besides our digital subscriptions, being able to roll it out, we needed to be able to spend more time with our faculty, getting to know them, being able to train them on the newest tools. And a big part of that was finding tools that interconnect with our learning management system. So our magic that we rolled out this year is called UserBus. And UserBus actually links to our platform. We use something called Blackbaud. And so it links to Blackbaud, it links to Apple School Manager, it links to Clever. It also takes our contact cards in Blackbaud, so that when we are typing into Google, it'll show up the family name. So if you type in the whole student name, it'll show that. So you can quickly send those emails to parents and families, like if it's for, if you're just like a quick field trip reminder, it's great for admin. For us as a tech department, it's great when it pulls that contact information so that we can email parents, like if for damaged devices is really what tech teams really are emailing about, but it pulls that information so you're not having to look to make sure, is this student able to, is this parent on the contact list? Is it like a divorce decree? All the things that come with having to manage who you are allowed to email or not. So that was helpful for us, was interconnecting UserBus with all of our tools. It was nice also to link it to Clever because it kind of streamlined all of those identities quickly for us so that we can continue to work with our teachers and not be worried about the other side of things, the management side of things. And so also along the same lines with subscriptions, with our AI, the big thing that we were looking at is making sure that we have it rolled out correctly. And so with that subscription, we had all of our teachers in upper school read a book called AI in the Classroom. And then our upper school principal actually led that charge. So he kind of did the training, and then we rolled out the cohort, and then we also rolled out the policy at the same time. The policy went across all boards, but our middle school, they held off and didn't do training in service. They kind of had their teachers read it, and then we're doing a follow-up presentation and training with them actually starting in January. They wanted to wait because most of the Trek AI tools and things like that we're rolling out for them would be in January when the students are a little older and they've met that COPA compliant piece. All right, so I may have flown through this a little bit, but do you have any questions for me?
UserBus, I've come across it and it looked really appealing, and we have a lot of just internal custom code that does a lot of what that does. And you mentioned your use case for it. Can you talk more about that and it sounds like you're connecting Blackbaud to Google Workspace. Is that a connector?
That is a connector. So we use UserBus to connect from Blackbaud to Apple School Manager. And then we also use UserBus to connect Blackbaud to our contact cards in Google Workspace. We use Azure for all things, but the piece that's really difficult and that UserBus solved for us was we have admin who want to do mass emails to families for newsletters, things like that. But what's hard is there wasn't a connection. So if they started typing in a student name, it wasn't populating the parents that were allowed to be emailed for those mass emails. And so UserBus solved that for us. It pulls those contact cards for the students. And so our admin or our teachers, when they go to their Gmail account, they can type in that student's name and it populates all of the parent information. They just click on it and there you go for the email. Basically, they don't have to copy and paste anymore, or they don't have to call IT and ask them, can you pull me a list of all my parent rosters of who can actually be emailed? Or they're going to their counselor and asking the same thing. So UserBus actually did it for us by taking our contact card, looking at each level and pulling that information so we don't have to do all the email distribution list things for us. They also have a ton of other options we've looked at. Those were our two main goals for this year to roll out. It really helped with Apple School Manager and Apple Classroom, which then we also have Apple School Manager linked to Jamf School, which is what we use to manage our iPads. And so anytime a student changes class, which happens a lot in the beginning of the school year, and then it happens again in January, especially in upper school and middle school, when they're changing their courses for the semester, it syncs it every 24 hours, so we're not manually having to put the student into their new class. It already did it for us. And same thing with contact cards. If they put in, their third period class, it's already synced who was in there. And we tell our teachers this year, we're like, it syncs every 24 hours, 7 a.m., Monday through Friday. So if something happened on Friday at 5, don't email until Monday after 7, or you'll have the wrong set of kids. But it has been a lifesaver because it has saved us from having to do spreadsheets and other things to help teachers get what they need. So it's been great.
Anyone else?
Just to follow up to that, we've been encouraging our teachers, we use Blackbaud too to send the parent notes, and I'm wondering like why you go the email route, not Blackbaud parent notices?
So we have done just we don't use the messaging system in Blackbaud, mainly because it's too many clicks. And our parents, they sign up for the notifications for, assignments changing, assignments missing, all the things. And so if they sign up for the text message, it just gives them the line they have to click. Then they have to go into Blackbaud versus just going to their email and they get it. So it really just came down to how many clicks. Also, because we have to add multiple people, Blackbaud doesn't allow us to add multiple people onto a note. So if they had to add like an admin or something like that to all of these, it doesn't allow us to do that. Or if it had, if you had to add somebody else who was in another division, things like that. So we stuck with email, even though we'd love Blackbaud to come up with that feature.
Thank you. Antoinette, thank you.
You're welcome.